Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the August 12th Standing Commission meeting, and we will start this evening with a pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first item this evening is the consent agenda. We have the meeting minutes for our work session on the 27th, as well as the regular commission meeting that evening as well, and to consider an amendment to Ordinance 5030-20.
I so move to approve.
Thank you,
I
Commissioner.
second.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. First item on this evening's regular agenda is Blues Brews and Barbecue. Denise?
Yes, thank you. You have a couple of things for Blues Brews and Barbecue. You'll need two separate motions for that. The first one is for a special event and for city services, and that would be for putting up snow fencing at the athletic park for September 25th. For the Blues Brews and Barbecue. The second one is for the temporary alcohol permit, and they have applied for that, and everything is in order with that, the application that I have. The one thing that they will do 14 days before the event will be to apply to the state of Kansas to get their temporary alcohol permit for the state, and then they'll bring that copy to me as well. They can't do it before that time, that 14-day period, so we go ahead and approve that with the understanding that that would be happening. And I would recommend approval of both of these.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item this evening is the chili cook.
You'll need to make a motion for both of those. They need to be separate motions.
So the first one was for the special event. Is that correct, Commissioner?
Yes, it was.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion for the alcohol temporary permit?
I'll make a motion for the temporary alcohol permit for the Blues Brews and Barbecue.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the second motion carries.
Okay, the next one is for the chili cook-off, and that is also happening on the 25th. There's a lot of things going on that day. This is for use, again, for city services. They are wanting to extend the parking lot all the way, or the place that they use, to all the way to Poplar Street, that they would close off from Living Rooms by Gale all the way to Poplar if they have that many booths, and that's just to kind of spread everybody out. They have talked with both the Sand Creek Nutrition as well as Back Alley, and they're all good with that. If they don't have to go that far, they will just go to the side of the Kansan like they have done previously. So you'll need a motion for that. And then also the temporary alcohol permit that is being done in the parking lot of Midland, which is private property. So we do not have any say over that. They will put up fencing for that. But again, they will apply for those permits for the state before that time. So, and just as a little quick one, they are going to be having a little fair over here in conjunction with all of this at the Carriage Factory Gallery. So you will be getting you probably won't get that request because I can approve that, but they're going to block off this part of 6th Street from probably the parking lot, the 6th Street parking lot to Oak over here, and then there will be games and that kind of stuff in the parking lot for the insurance company, Conradi Insurance. It's left my mind for a moment. And then also you will be getting well, you probably won't have to do this request either, but there will also be the Red Hot Chili Pepper Run that same morning on the 25th. So it's all kind of tying together into one big event.
Move for approval of the chili cook-off special event application.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We need a motion for the alcohol permit.
I move that we approve item B.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. All righty, next item this evening is to establish the date and time to conduct a revenue neutral rate hearing on the 2022 budget. Donna?
This is due to the new Senate Bill 13. We have to publish this. We've already turned in our notice to the county clerk by July 20th that we will stay at our tax levy rate we have for the last 3 years. This is our 4th year. Instead of the revenue neutral rate, which was 61.935, which is 0.6 mils lower. So this is what we have to do. We have a hearing on August 24th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall in the Commission Room for anyone who wants to talk to us about that.
So how do we handle this order of business?
Okay, so you will, okay. You'll need to make a motion to establish the date and time for the hearing, and that it would be in the commission chambers is where you need to establish that time
Okay.
or the place.
Well, I move that we establish the date and time for the revenue neutral rate hearing on August the 24th, 6 p.m. here in Commission Chambers.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Next item is to consider approval of not to exceed budget for publication and establish the date and time for the 2022 budget hearing. Donna?
This is our usual one that we always have to do. This gives us our mill levy rate for each of the 5 property tax funds, and they will remain the same at 62.535 mills. Our not-to-exceed expenditure total will be $8,112,721. We can always come down now if you guys would like to change anything before we approve the budget on the 24th, but we cannot exceed this expenditure. And this is set for the same time, August 24th at 6 p.m. here in the Commission Chambers.
Very good. Do we have that motion from the bench?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have that motion
I'll second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item this evening is to consider a resolution updating the 2017 cemetery rules and regulations. Suzanne?
Yes, Commissioners. The last time we updated rules and regulations was in 2017. We have had a request from a local mortuary that wanted us to review the urn vault material requirements. They have several customers that have requested double urns, and the double urn vaults cannot be made out of the materials that we had, or were not being made out of the materials that we had included in the regulations. So they asked that we would add the plastic urn vaults, which would be an ABS plastic rated at 3,200 PSI. So we have made that change. If you approve this this evening, then the regulations would be updated, and the resolution is in the packet for you to approve as well.
Very good. We need a resolution number, please.
Sure, that's G1252.
Motion to approve G1252.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioners. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item this evening is to consider a resolution extending the term of Resolution G1236, which provides the city's intent to grant tax abatement to the expansion of the Bunting Magnetics facility. Kelly?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Before you is a request from Bunting Magnetics. You may recall on August 25th last year, they approached you about the issuance of IRBs, industrial revenue bonds, which also come with a sales tax exemption and a property tax exemption. This would apply to the new build out of their facility only. It was a customer experience center. And it was where you see the red square on your map here on the screen. That is the new expansion. The expansion is complete, but due to supply chain issues that we are all experiencing right now, they're having trouble getting their couple pieces of larger machinery and equipment that they need to finish the project. The project must be 100% complete before we can close it out. So we are really unsure how long the supply chain issues are going to last. So just to be safe, we've asked for a 1-year extension of the resolution. And then regardless of when the supplies come, we can close the project out at any time. We don't have to wait for that time period. And when the project is closed out, we will come back to you with an ordinance that will then grant that tax abatement for the upcoming year. And this does not apply to their existing facility, so it's not any less tax revenue than anyone would be receiving.
I talked to Mr. Bunning semi-regularly. He was telling me that if you think the supply chain hiccups are bad here in the U.S., they're nothing compared to China or Europe. He said that's where the main issues are for them, and I think that's where these pieces of equipment are getting hung up.
Resolution number, please.
Sure, that would be G1253.
Thank you.
I move that we approve G1253.
Second?
We have a motion and a second, and all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Last item on our agenda this evening is to consider approval of the Hope Home Repair bad debt cancellations. Don?
Back in 2011, the City of Newton entered into a memorandum of understanding with Hope Home Repair to provide home repairs to homeowners whose household income was at 60% or below of the median income. They had to hold title to their home, and it had to be occupied as their primary residence. The city agreed to provide up to $4,000 for people who met this criteria, and then Hope Home Repair would match it with another $4,000. And Hope Home Repair handled the home repair plans. They made sure the work was completed, and they also made sure that we had the papers so that we could be perfected and be on the mortgage. Before that, there was a forerunner of this program was the Mennonite housing. This was all kind of rolled into one, and it totaled, the money available was $80,000. And right now, there's a total of $50,235 that are in the notes receivable. And during a recent audit of these funds, we discovered that 4 of the accounts were foreclosed on a few years back, and we lost our spot due to they were sold and there was no money left for us, basically. So we're asking that these be written off as bad debts, and it's in the amount of $9,450, and that would just come off of the $80,000. That'd be that much less left to issue to people. This is very hard to come up with people in this category as well. So we're just trying to clean it all up, and then maybe we can turn around and use it for another program just like this.
Thank you for that explanation. Any questions?
Does that reduce the 50 then?
It's going to reduce the 50.
It's going to reduce it, okay, to about 41, something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good.
I move we write off the $9,450.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. There's nobody that signed up for the citizens agenda this evening, citizens forum. So with that, we'll go ahead and go around the horn. Mr. Vice Mayor?
I am looking forward to Saturday, 10 o'clock,
We all are.
in the pool. So be there or be square. That's what I would say. It's the place to be Saturday morning.
10 a.m.
Yes.
10 a.m. Tomorrow night's the Ulysses High School Sunshine Fund pie auction.
Ulysses?
Newton High School.
What is that?
Ulysses.
Okay, that's COVID brain.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Adam, put that in the paper, please.
I'm glad that all of you corrected me at the same time, so it was pretty obvious I couldn't talk my way out of that.
Right there with him.
Anyway, I'm going to have a cherry pie there that's to die for, literally. Whether you're from Ulysses or from Newton, it's going to be the best pie in the whole state of Kansas. So, and I happily protected the honor of our police department after the sheriff of this fine county started throwing a little trash talk Chief Dunleavy's way. So, anyway, thank you. I will defend you with my life. Maybe even a cherry pie.
Maybe a cherry pie.
So,
Pie war has begun.
be there or be square.
I have 2 exciting pieces of information for you this evening, and you guys probably have heard from me already on 1 or 2 of them. But I am pleased to share for anyone who might have missed it that the Senate passed by a decent majority, a bipartisan transportation funding bill. And that includes the infrastructure funding that has been long awaited for the expansion of our Amtrak service from Oklahoma City to through Wichita to here to Newton to connect with the Southwest Chief. There's still several hoops to jump through. There's a lot of planning going on at the DOT level with KDOT and ODOT. We're working on updates to our 10-year transportation plans for both states, and this expansion was included as a priority in both of those studies. We're finishing those up. BNSF in the last couple of years had completed a recent cost study analysis on what infrastructure improvements would be needed along the line, both in Kansas and Oklahoma, to reopen that flyer extension. So we are very pleased to report this. I know you guys have heard me talk about it a lot over the years. With the flyer extension, we anticipate anywhere between 100 to 200,000 additional folks visiting Newton every year to interconnect with the chief that in non-pandemic years serves about 340,000 people annually. And so it's going to take some time, and it's not going to happen overnight, but we are super pleased about that. And we are looking forward to working with all of our partners at the host railroads, at BNSF and at UP, as well as our partners at Amtrak. So that was a super exciting piece of news. We've worked on this for a long time, long time. And I'm also pleased to share with you that we were recently notified by Mennonite Housing of Wichita that our tax credit application to KHRC for their senior-specific patio homes was approved. And they will close on those tax credits in November or December. And so as a reminder, this is at First and Boyd. It's city-owned property. This is First Street on the north side. What you see in the yellow is Phase 1, and that's what was approved for this round of tax credit applications. It'll be 32 units with a clubhouse, a maintenance garage, entrances both at First Street here and Boyd over here. There will be probably pickleball courts, and depending on some additional grant funding that they are working with the MHEG at the federal level to obtain as matching funds, they may be able to add some additional amenities, like they wanted a walking path and for the drainage area. You may recall they are purchasing this property from us, and we did agree as part of their development agreement so that they could get points towards this application to provide a credit of up to $25,000 worth of fees. And that ended up turning the trick for us. This was the third time we applied, and we made it by the skin of our teeth, and we are super excited to see this happening. Depending on the state and federal turnaround for closing on the tax credits, it is possible that you will see dirt moving by December.
And the number of units?
32, and they are senior specific,
Right.
55 and older. They are all patio homes, universal build, so they will be like no stairs. There will be safe rooms, and I know that they're debating whether they would be closets or what the setup would be for the safe room option. They are anticipated to have garages. I believe they're 1 and 2 bedroom unit options. We will get all of that firmed up for you. So I just wanted to share with you. This is super exciting. We're working on housing right and left at many different angles. It still remains our number 1 priority for this community. And we are hoping that folks who would move into these maintenance-free homes will free up additional homes on the private sector market so that we can start turning those over and get some additional homes on the market for sale. So,
Right.
2 great pieces of news.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sir?
No, sir. Thank you.
Suzanne?
No, sir.
Donna? Commissioner?
I'm excited too about Saturday. I've been over there several days. It's just like I want to camp out there. I'm just really excited. It's here, and just many thanks to the staff for all that you all have done with this, and then the people that are over there. As I've observed them working, some of them have been there for days in a row, days and days. And that's all for us, so that we can, present this pool to the community. So I'm excited. So thank you. And again, thank you to our first responders. Always thank you. We appreciate you. We're so glad you're here. Keep up the good work. Newton needs you, and Newton appreciates you. So thank you for being here.
Sir?
Make sure you're there Saturday. First responders, because we make a win.
Well, two things. I'm not gonna challenge Rob, but I'm gonna say this, that we talked to Melody, and she supplied us with some Tourism and Visitors Bureau, some murals and some City of Newton kind of paraphernalia to decorate our tables with for our pies. Now, my pie is probably gonna beat his, but even if it doesn't, see, here's what's gonna happen. So we're going to represent the city of Newton, right? And the mayor's going to have one there too. And so we're going to overrule anything from the county or any other entity that's there. See, and that's the whole point. We're going to represent the city in force. There will be no doubt about it who's going to win, okay? Secondly, I'm looking forward to seeing Rod and Kathy dive off the high dive Saturday. Right out of the gate, okay?
He's a funny guy.
Just to open up the festivities.
He's a funny
How's that?
guy.
Kathy wants the blue slide.
I know, I want the family slide, the one that's lowest to the ground.
We have
Mayor,
been-
can I add one thing real quick?
Sure.
I hope that Sheriff Gay is watching tonight, and if he's not, I'm sure this will get to him. But he said his pie only goes for about $50, but Commissioner Kreis said his pie goes for $8,000 to $10,000. So the county needs to step it up just a little bit. $50.
He said 50.
50. $50. She goes, I don't know, what do they go for, like $50 or something like that?
Yeah.
And
It's like,
Commissioner Kreis was very confident that his would go for $8,000 to $10,000. So just pointing that out.
Who's
Hey.
making your pie?
You know,
it's coming from heaven.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
All right,
that's
all right. So
priceless.
now that we have established that the pie wars are in effect, okay, I will go as far as saying, I made my pies, all 3 of them, and they are ready to go. Unfortunately, I regret not being able to be there tomorrow night, but stop by the booth because I'm there in spirit. There's some great volunteers who are going to be manning the booth for me, and the commission is out in force, and we are going to respond, and we are going to sell some pies. Young man, I expect you to do great things at the pool this weekend. Lead them.
Into the water.
Into the water. We have been teasing our poor law enforcement officers that we may need to clock the lazy river and make sure it's lazy enough.
Yeah.
We're not- that we're appropriately relaxing.
For those of us
Awesome.
who are older.
Well, thank you, everybody, for all that you do, and with that, we're